Holy shit, chat. Your boy is live. The Game Side, the Biblical Beast, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. The most versatile motherfucker on this damn platform, Anubis, the Gamer Archangel. Feeling good, looking good, smelling good, because your boy is back. One of the stream for you guys today, this week. Hope you're all in good health, mentally and physically. Hope you're all enjoying yourselves and having a nice time. But until then, we's here, Annie, and we got some games to go over. More so just this one, and then we're gonna watch this video as well for the YouTube channel. So we're not gonna read the article, it's more so just, you know, the headline to go over. So Ubisoft has apparently canceled an Assassin's Creed game that was set post Civil War, where you're gonna play as either an escaped slave or a freed slave. Let's see. Actually, we might as well just go ahead and read the fucking article. According to game files, Stefan Totilo, if I pronounce your last name wrong, Stephen or Stefan, but you know, because you know, the names be pronounced differently. I do apologize, my dude. A post-Civil War Assassin's Creed was in development at one point, but was ultimately canceled. The Assassin's Creed, English first language. The Assassin's Creed series has been going strong for almost 2 decades, with countless entries spanning multiple eras. The historical action games have been a staple for Ubisoft fans. The latest entry, Assassin's Creed Shadows, finally released after a lot of delays and some controversy regarding one of its characters, Yosuke. While it has subsided, it may have led to a new entry being scrapped altogether, according to Tantilo. It was funny about Shadows. Now that Ghost of Yutai is out, and you know the anti-woke dum-dums and weirdos out there are, you know, they go from game to game to game to do their mentally freaking brain dead betterhelp.com needing freaking takes. They're calling Ghost of Yutai trash, or saying that Shadows is a better game, Shadows has better physics. Like, they're saying all these positive things about Shadows to insult Ghost of Yutai for no reason other than just to shit on, you know, the fact that the main character is a woman. But you know, apparently the thought process with this cancellation, that they're blaming the current political landscape of the United States on why this game got canceled. The game was supposed to take place in post-Civil War. You would play it as a former slave protagonist, it says right here, who returns to the South to confront the rise of Ku Klux Klan. And so, like, that thought process is why people think that they canceled the game. It's like, okay, America's getting very, very right-leaning. You can probably walk down the freaking streets of any city in the United States wearing a freaking full-on freaking Grand Wizard freaking outfit, and people will be okay with it. So people are saying that Ubisoft canceled because they feel like, sorry, I got a text. They're saying this is the reason why Ubisoft canceled it, is they didn't want to like touch on Civil War era and you know, racism while the USA is going through what it's going through. I would say this is what I said on social media. If this is true, Ubisoft are the biggest cowards we've seen in gaming. And I say that because, first off, art is an expression, you know, of progression. You know, whenever things are going bad, people will use art to like be positive, to like show strength and unity and things of that nature. This is someone, because video games are art. So this is a game studio who is, instead of using that art to, you know, have positivity or strength, things of that nature, like you just mentioned, they're just want to hide it. Like, oh, we're scared. We don't want to deal with any like fallback or negativity. We want to deal with anything when it comes to the president and things of that nature. Like, first of all, Ubisoft's a French Canadian company, so they don't really have to care about things like that. But the United States is their biggest market, so that's what they care about. They care about the money. What I would say to Ubisoft, and they never see this take at all. You would not be the first piece of literature or art to have a story with the Ku Klux Klan. Believe it or not, many moons ago, Marvel did a Black Panther comic where he faced the Ku Klux Klan. If I can find, I don't know, go to like images because I don't have safe search on. I don't want anything crazy popping up. So we'll just click on this. So this was by Jack Kirby, who's infamous when it comes to Marvel and, you know, writing, you know, the comics. So back in the 80s, log off. Back in the 80s, the 80s, it was 96, 66. So Jack Kirby, along with writer Stan Lee, created the Black Panther in 1966. However, Black Panther's first solo story was published by Jungle Action. It's crazy freaking like name for the like. It's not meant to be racist, but it's like considered certain things. In 1973. I don't find like this one right here. This is the comic, what it looked like. So Marvel had the balls to not just have the Black Panther face the Ku Klux Klan, but they also put him on a freaking cover. So Kirby wasn't involved in the story, so he didn't write it. So I was wrong about that. It's okay to admit that you're wrong. I was wrong about Kirby being the one who actually wrote the storyline. It came out in 77, so the year it came out, which by the way was still, you know, relatively very politically, let's say, like they're walking on eggshells, kind of like just like now. You know, the United States has always gone through these phases where it's like just racially sensitive times, and the 70s were still very, very racially sensitive. Because, you know, the thing about the civil rights movement was only a few years prior to this, so you know things were still a little sensitive. And regardless of that, Marvel had the balls to do this comic. Why? Because art is a sign of, you know, progression. It's a sign of, you know, is inherently, one of the things is art is inherently left leaning. You can obviously have, you know, racist art and things like that, but inherently, that's the key word, art is progressive. And a lot of artists will use, you know, what they create, be it comics, stories, movies, paintings, to like push the agenda of progression. You know, even when it comes to like things that you might even notice, like The Witcher, for example. The Witcher books were meant to be progressive towards, you know, how Poland was. Poland was not very progressive, so the writer of The Witcher wanted to make a story where things were pushing that way to be more open-minded and progressive. So my general point is this: you can't be a coward in the face of tyranny. You can't be a coward in the face of racism and bigotry. You have to be the one who has the courage to fight. You have to be the one who has the courage to make art that you want to make and not fear what could happen. Because you know what you end up could have happened, Ubisoft? You can make this game and you might have like a renaissance of your freaking like product being like liked by a different audience. That audience being a lot of people of color, particularly black people, might have been like, yo, we got to buy the game. I'll tell you this right now about black folk. When it comes to art, black gamers in particular, especially like just black nerds in general, blurs, as you will, are very, very drawn to black art. Whenever there's like any kind of like opportunity to like to grab on to black art, black nerds jump on it. When Black Panther came out for the movie, black people went to go watch that shit in droves. Black people love black shit. So there's already black people who play Assassin's Creed, obviously. But you would have had a whole new influx of black people who are like, yo, I'm buying that game because of how black it is. That happened with Shadows. There's people who weren't that interested in Assassin's Creed Shadows. They saw Yasuke, I was like, I'm buying it just for Yasuke. They didn't even care if it was going to be good or bad. They just wanted to play it because of Yasuke. And because they didn't want the game to fail. Because the game failed, then the people who are racist would be like, haha, go broke. The game did well. So they can't say that. The other thing about this too is Ubisoft has done characters with slave lineage before. Two of them are present in that exact image. So right behind Arno, who's French, next to Edward Kenway, is Adewale. Adewale was in Assassin's Creed 4 with Edward Kenway. Adewale also had his own expansion DLC to Assassin's Creed 4 where he was the main character. Adewale is a former slave. So it's not the first time. But wait, there's more. Over next to Adewale, a little further around, not Bayek, a little further down, you have Aveline. Aveline's mom was a slave. So it's not the first time Ubisoft has done a game where slavery was mentioned or had some kind of impact, or they had characters with some form of slave lineage in general. It's only now that Ubisoft is lacking the courage to go through with their stories. Assassin's Creed has always, like, you know what's funny about Ubisoft? They have failed to understand their own messaging. Because Assassin's Creed's messaging, when it comes to the assassins, what they stand for, Ubisoft is going against that. Like, if the assassins were real, they would not approve this at all. Because, you know, you're supposed to fight tyranny when you're an assassin. You're supposed to be against, you know, the right-leaning ideologies when you're an assassin. Yeah. Like, you think of all the quotes, the doctrines and things that the assassins live by. Canceling this game is anti-Assassin's Creed. And the thing about it, you're going to have an opposite reaction where people will be like, you know what? Fuck Ubisoft. People will be like, I'm not going to buy any of their games, particularly Assassin's Creed, because they didn't have the courage to stand up for something. Because people are drawn to people who even if they're not even intentionally trying to be an activist, people are drawn to people who stand up for other people. And Ubisoft had a chance to like be that one who literally could just cash in, because they didn't have to freaking do this post. They could have just cashed in on the current climate and went up with a post-Civil War Assassin's Creed game and be like, boom, take advantage of the situation. That's not what they did. Not what they did.